you know, on one adventure, we used to go in Friuli, which is a land that I used to go with a bike buying stuff like that. One time we were traveling. This is the first time I ever see a guy with a gun. We were the way we were traveling. It was all the way with trucks. You know, you ask the trucks, they were going like 30 miles, so they would take you over that. And one time I was traveling in a truck, they had wine
Barrels?
barrels of wine, and I was traveling in one corner of the truck like that, and one car, a small car, stopped, got in front of us, and he stopped the truck, and he got a gun, a real gun. He said, just go out, you know, just get lost. And they took the truck and they drove away with the truck and the car. Now, I don't know if it was a politic or it was theft or what was the motive. I didn't want to make no questions. I see that the guy, we just got on the road and, you know, and we just moved. Another time, talking about adventure, on the way to, if you got a few minutes more, I got to go in, like in Gabriel, where my mom, she was born, and there was partisan activity in that area. I see some villages, they were burning. I saw with my eyes sometime. You know, every time they would kill a German, they would
bomb the area.
Yeah, they could destroy a village or something. And that was happened all the time. But I was going to say something about
an adventure you went to, where your mom.
Oh yeah, when we traveled to Luigo in that place, there was like activity. Something must have happened, and they were waiting like in an ambush. You know, it was like
the Germans. The Germans were waiting in ambush.
Yeah. You know, when they are covered with all these leaves and stuff like that. And it was me, my dad, and one lady that we traveled. There was no buses. We used to walk like 20 miles. And we shall go through tracks or shortcuts, whatever it was. And why on the railroad tracks, one instance, we were about close to get to destination. They jump out like 4 or 5 guys with machine gun, and they had all this. I mean, I remember this lady scream, you know, the way, and those guys, they were not joking. They were looking for partisan activity on the ground. And if they catch you or they saw, you go in San Saba, like in concentration or something. I saw trucks, they were getting people, whether you were helping partisans or no, that you were against the German, they took a shortcut with you right away. And when they stopped us at that time, good thing is my father spoke German fairly good, because he was in Austrian army. And I remember when this guy, they got around us with a machine gun just like this, you know, and they go, wo gehen Sie? I learned for years German. I understood almost everything, you know, where you're going, what you're doing, and stuff like that. And then my father started to speak in German, you know. And the guy say, he was yelling at his friends, they were over there. Wie haben Sie einen, der sprechen Deutsch? You know, we have one guy speak German. And my father say he was in I don't know, I remember, I understood everything what he was saying. He was in the Austrian Brigade, 25, I don't know. And they kind of softened things out. Yeah. And after 5 minutes, they see that we are just passing by, we are not partisan. In fact, they give us cigarette to my father, you know, it was a
big deal.
Like, but you know, you get scared. I mean, I've seen a few times things like this guy with a gun, but they scare you. I mean, when happen things like this, you know, you're over there like anybody else, you know. Sometimes it's. Anyway, that's this little story. This is what I'm saying. You know, I don't add like fantasy or artificial thing. What I say is the truth. You know, 100%. I mean, I might say I don't remember if I have 15 or 16 years old, or it was 40 miles and I say 30 miles, but the substance of the story, it's kind of.
Is there anything that was on your list of things to do that you haven't done yet?
In which way?
You know, like you always had a dream to come to America, or any of your dreams that you had that.
Yes, it came. I never got famous like Van Gogh yet.
Oh.
But it's my dream. Like, you know, I don't give up. We don't give up things.
Right.
And I don't know. The art in my life is just something that it stick to me. That you know, you say you invest so much time, money, effort, and you still have a feeling that there's a possibility that you can go somewhere.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm kind of proud to be able to say, without formal instruction, to be able, you know, to have some, at least have some painting in galleries,
yeah,
and show a little prestige, a little bit. But I'm always dreaming. I always dream. When I was small, I dreamed in Santa. And I was happy when I was dreaming, even if I get just an orange and an apple, like a reward. But the time you're dreaming, you're living with something that is worth living. Like
you have hope for something.
You got to hope. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe one day I'll
be famous. You are famous already.
So.
Okay. Well, I think we have a lot of good information. I think we could, you know, have a lot to, I don't know even what part I would even cut out. I think most of it is good. And then I think probably the next step, I would ask Susan, Joanne, and John if they have any questions, but we could do it on another time. You know, maybe we see what we have and see if there's anything else we want to add.
You can, is that still on now?
Is it? Mm-hmm. You want it to be on or you want it off now?
No, but I mean, I think we kind of, probably somebody gonna say, is that enough? Or is
well, they can.
But I mean, for us, like to be in a family, I do remember that always one thing. And when my father and I, even often today, I ask my sister in Australia because she's the oldest. I said, do you remember Mama, this? And do you remember that the age or how they met? You know, what is it? And there's a lot of stuff. And there's nobody now to ask a question.
And then it's lost. And then it's lost, you know? So it's like if I think of, you know, when I think of something, then I write down the question so that then I can ask. And that's why I want to ask. I mean, I kind of took charge of this, but I want to ask Susan and Joanne and John if they have questions.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to answer.
To add something.
Yeah, maybe we can always add to it. Thank you, Mr. Photographer.
I got to go in Gabriel, where my mom, she was born, and there was partisan activity in that area. I see some villages, they were burning. I saw with my eyes sometime. There was activity. Something must have happened, and they were waiting like in an ambush. You know, it was like
the Germans. The Germans were waiting in ambush.
Yeah. You know, when they are covered with all these leaves and stuff like that. And it was me, my dad, and one lady that we traveled. There was no buses. We used to walk like 20 miles. And we should go through tracks or shortcuts, whatever it was. And why on the railroad tracks, one instance, we were about close to get to destination. They jump out like 4 or 5 guys with machine gun. And they had all this, I mean, I remember this lady scream, you know, the way, and those guys, they were not joking. They were looking for partisan activity on the ground. And And if they catch you or they saw you go in San Saba, like in concentration or something. I saw trucks, they were getting people, whether you were helping partisans or no, that you were against the German, they took a shortcut with you right away. And when they stopped us at that time, good thing is my father spoke German fairly good because he was in Austrian army. And I remember when this guy, they got around us with a machine gun just like this, you know, and they go, wo gehen Sie? I learned for years German. I understood almost everything, you know, where you're going, what you're doing, and stuff like that. And then my father started to speak in German, you know, and the guy he was yelling at his friends, they were over there. We haben Sie eine sprechen Deutsch. You know, we have one guy speak German, and my father said he was in I don't know, I remember, I understood everything what he was saying. He was in the Austrian Brigade, 25, I don't know. And they kind of softened things out. Yeah. And after 5 minutes, they see that we are just passing by, we are not partisan. In fact, they give us cigarette to my father, you know, it was a
big deal.
But you know, you get scared. I mean, I've seen a few times things like this guy with a gun, but they scare you. I mean, when happen things like this, you know, you're over there like anybody else, you know. Sometimes it's... Anyway, that's a little story. Generally speaking, the situation was still pretty bad. This was in 1946 when I went back, and it was kind of hard to get jobs. And the first good job I went to the office where looking for the job, and this friend of mine, he heard, you know, somebody must speak English to work with the American news for the magazines, you know. They were sending magazines, and they goes, Felice, cerca uno che parla inglese, you know. They look for somebody who speaks English. And believe it, those days it's not like today. Today everybody speaks, almost everybody. It's unbelievable. And when I went on the office, they come out to me, hey, you speak, the guy say, they parla inglese. I say, I speak English. Okay, he said, there's a Stars and Stripes was the magazine for the American Army. And they were looking for somebody to work in, they must have speak English, you know. And I have fair knowledge. When I came back, I knew a little English. I mean, before I learned a little bit, then I was there in Ellis Island another 2 months, strictly with, so that helped me a lot. So I came back with something positive out there. So I got this job. I was kind of lucky. I was excited. Oh, this was I think was my first job ever. I mean, when I was small, you know, when I was 15 years old, maybe I had some small jobs, but to get a job like being paid by monthly, that was pretty damn good.
And you were 16.
Yeah, I was. Yes, I was not 17 yet, but I mean, I was really. I had this first job that I worked for the Stars and Stripes.
So what did you do for them?
Oh, like the army, they got script money. They don't have dollars. They got their own occupation. It's money. And I was selling magazines. I know all the names from, you know, Fortune and Collier and Life's, and I kept learning English. And at the same time, I was still trying to keep in touch with American ships. I would go in the harbor, and with the Stars and Stripes, I would go sell the newspaper on the ships, just to make a little money, but always still to be in touch with my dreams to go sooner or later to come over here somehow. I don't know what other job that oh yeah, it used to be I used to work in a lumber yard. There was, in Trieste, there is a lot of lumber come from Austria, and that was like working stevedores. And I worked over there like maybe 1 year. It was a pretty tough job, pretty heavy. Unloading railroad trucks, you know, the wood from there. That was kind of tough job. I remember that I was probably always the most skinny guy over there, and I can see those faces with those. Usually stevedores are kind of, you know, you can tell. And then when they called my name to go work with them, they would look like, again, Felice with us. You know, when three guys work and one doesn't work, you slow the whole thing. But I was kind of proud that after maybe a few months or so, I was pretty strong. To be skinny, small, but I took care of myself. So that was another job, working in a lumber.
That was after the Stars and Stripes.
Right. Then I got, that was after. Then I got, since I started as a stevedore, there was a work, there was an office in Trieste, and they was sending new people, crew to you know, when they arrive ship, you had to handle stevedores work. That was the, you know, when we say stevedores mean like labor. And they sent me, one time they sent me on the ship. They say, there was no people more. So when at the end, you know, they say, you want to go, you think you're going to go on the ship, work on a big night, work all night in the, you know, as a stevedores. And I remember the word he said, Biondin te que la fará. He said, like, Blondie, you want to make it? Work all night as a stevedore with those guys. And I was skinny. I probably say with honesty that I never see a small guy like me to be a stevedore. You know, I didn't, and as a matter of fact, I didn't make it because I kept for a few hours working on the, you know, unloading. I think it was bags. You know, you got like a hook, get those, and I worked maybe for 3-4 hours. But after I was pooped, I just could not. And those guys, they were nice. They were kind of happy. You know, you got two people, and two people. One is a half full, the other one is starting, and one has got to be full. It's go like. So you have to keep track, you have to keep moving.
Right.
And at night I just made my best, but I just could not keep up with them. So that was a little experience, you know. I can say I keep a record to be the skinniest stevedores in Trieste because I never saw anybody small like that. But when the guy asked me, hey, Blondie, you think you're going to make it? What do you want to say? I need the money. I say, sure, I'm going to make it.
Right.
Yeah, other jobs that I had. Oh, okay, now there's something important was there. When I work as a stevedores, unloading cars for the lumber, in the morning, one morning I heard one guy that he was immigrating to Sweden. He said there is an office that there is immigration open, and he mentioned something for Canada too. And when I heard that they were looking like different country, they were looking for different type of people. Like for Argentina, for Venezuela, they look for mechanics or thing. For Canada, they look for agricoltori.
Agriculture.
Agriculture labor. In other words,
farmers.
They look for farmers. And the good thing was for me that I spent 1 year on a 6th grade, and it was no choice, but for me to go take the school was in agriculture style, like, and that helped me a lot. So when I heard that it is for Canada, I said, Emilio, the guy came in the States with me. Let's get the next one. And he was just 1 year too younger. It was a small city outside of Trieste. They were recruiting people for Canada. And I remember that, I mean, when I hear that, I went to that office and I applied. I made an application. I said they're never going to call me for, you know, to be there, to go as a farmer over there. But after like 1 month, I got on the mail to get there and go to Naples for the, they give a kind of test. They want to see you, how strong you are, if you are really thin, and you know, the whole thing, if you're healthy and that you don't, before you immigrate, they look at you. And I remember when we went to Naples, and that was the Canadian consul, and the name was Bagnoli. It was like a barracks for the army, so it was a lot of immigrants, you know, over there trying to immigrate. And when I got over there, and there was 3 tests to pass. One, you show them the hands, that you are like a
strong hands.
Like a labor. One, that you are healthy, and I don't know what was the other thing. But anyway, when I went over there, one thing that helped me also, that I spoke a little English. And this guy said, you know, what's the reason you want to go to Canada, you know? I said, it's my dream, you know. I always want to go to in new country like this. That's why I say a little English and stuff like that. Again, I was probably the skinniest guy. Oh yeah, I know that the third test was the medical test. Anyway, this consul, I don't know, he was in good humor or something. He took me like a sympathy, and I asked him one thing, because everybody was in Italian there. Nobody spoke English, that's for sure. And I had a fair knowledge of English, and I asked the interpreter, you know, I say, if you don't mind, I say, I can explain with my English. So the guy got a little sympathy when you speak the language. So he was laughing a little bit, you know, a skinny guy looking for. So he made an S on, we had an identification card in the old country, and he made an S, so like it was okay.